Hello everyone, here in another video, and today I'm gonna keep this series of human relationships and all. I think I'll make videos about it this whole week, and next week I come back with a more produced video because this week I'm focusing more on being, like present here in this channel to make this channel work and but in the future I wanna make more, like more videos with such a background search and all. But today I decided to talk about something I like and is really related to friendship, which is which is pretty similar to what we're talking about this week. And today I would like to talk about an anime called Nana. That is my current obsession, and I guess it's my profile picture here and in all my social media because I am obsessed with Nana. And this anime completely changed the way I see the world and all. And I want to talk about it. How this anime had such an impact in my life, especially when it comes to friendship. And I talked about the end of my friendship this week on Monday, and I have to say that this anime has a great part on this. And no, I didn't end in my friendship because of an anime, but it made me think about my friendship and what I would like to have from now on since the moment I watched this anime. And I'm currently rewatching it, so I have some things to say, but I'm still in the beginning, so I still have a lot to remember. And in this video, I won't talk about the characters like Takumi, Reira, because I don't want to talk about them. But I want to talk about what was the impact of this anime in my life. And starting with, I when I started to watch this anime, I didn't have actually any background about it. I had no idea of what this anime was about. Actually, I thought it would be a thriller about two girls. I had a completely different image from Nana, and when I watched it, I was like, man, it's completely different from what I imagined. And I started this anime with no perspective about it. I only started because back then I was really sad and I couldn't watch anything. I wasn't in the mood for anything, and I decided to take the first thing that came to my mind, and it was Nana. I remember everyone was talking about it, so I was like, okay, let's see what is this anime about. And once I watched it, I couldn't stop watching it. I was obsessed. I remember every single episode I finished. I went to the Reddit of the of Nana to learn more about it, to share my opinions. Maybe if you go there, you can find some of my posts there because I was obsessed and I wanted to talk about it because no one by my side actually watch anime, especially shoujo, which is the genre of Nana. So I had to talk with people from Reddit. That was my option. So I was like obsessed. I finished an episode, I went to Reddit. It was like a habit. And I was watching this till, like midnight, till dawn. I was watching it because I was obsessed and I couldn't stop watching. I couldn't sleep because I did to watch the next episode. And the thing that really made me so obsessed with this anime was because I could easily relate to the characters, especially Hachi when it comes to emotions. I'm not like her personally. If you know myself, if you know me actually, you see that I'm pretty different from her. Pretty different. I extremely different. But I don't know why I could feel when she was passing through hard times. I could feel exactly what she was feeling. I don't know why, but I could understand. I could relate myself so much to her feelings. And it's funny because I think I'm much more similar to Nana than to Hache. But emotionally, even emotionally, I think I'm much more similar to Nana. And there's a part of the anime that she says, this video will have some spoilers, but don't worry, it won't be like such an important spoiler. Uh, she said that how easy it was to some people to replace others. How could they move on so fast? And then that's exactly me. Is this literally, like rent a place in my mind? Like, how can people move on so fast? They treat other people like they were nothing. Like the whole time we spend together, we're like nothing. And I hate this about people. Honestly, I hate this about people. And another thing that really made me like this anime is, of course, the aesthetic. The aesthetic of this anime is amazing. Anime, manga, I read part of the manga, but I had to say that I watched the whole anime, so I'll be focusing more on the anime. But the aesthetic, I love the aesthetic, and I have to say, my style changed so much after I watched Nana, and especially because I dated of Nana. I got pretty more interested on Vivienne Westwood work. I already knew her work, but like it was so brief. I liked her bridal collection from 2022. I was obsessed with this collection. But once I watched Nana, I became obsessed with culture and I started to learn more about it. And man, Vivienne Westwood was so important for this culture. So important. And I became obsessed and I eventually see myself in Vivienne as well because we kind of have pretty similar life paths. She was interested in fashion. She wanted to work with that, but she couldn't because she didn't have access to that because of her social condition and she had to work as a teacher. That's exactly what's happening to me right now. So it's amazing. Another thing that I love in Nana, and I think is something that made a lot of human be related to it, is because it's a story that talks about young women being young women. So they're living things that we will live eventually or we already lived, even though you're not exactly their age. If you're younger or if you're a bit older, you couldn't relate yourself to this story. So when I watched it, Nana, I was 21, so my age is pretty close to theirs. And I could see myself so much in them. Even though my life is completely different from theirs, I could see this. I could imagine myself living this because I was living that time of my life. And I guess many women like it because if you're younger, you know that eventually you live this. And if you're older, you can see that you already passed through that. And it's good to see our, like this woman who being represented in such a realistic way. There's no romanticization. There's no romanticizing actually. There's no, like a filter of judgment or of romanticizing. It's just human being human. So it's so good to watch this. It's so comfortable to watch this. Because you see girls doing what girls do, passing through what girls pass. So that's amazing. That's amazing. And I think their aesthetics also complements the experience. So we see these girls like having lunch together, like making up together, actually doing their makeups together. So it's so comfortable. It kind of gives you some warmth when you're watching this because you're seeing girls being girls together, having a friendship that is common between these girls. And that is the point that I wanted to get. Because when I was watching it, I noticed that I never had that. And it made me really sad. Because I was like, seeing that two girls being friends, having this time together, sharing their flat and all, and like sharing these experiences, even though they have completely different lives because both of them they work with different things, they wanted different things, but eventually they were there participating of each other's lives. So that's what made me question, is this friendship really worth it? Because I never had any of those things with my best friend. You know, she's always having an excuse. She always has something that she can make to our day to hang out and all. And I was seeing all those girls having the best of their lives. And I started to notice that my friendship with her was much more similar to Hachi's and Junko than Nana and Hachi. And I told myself, no, I don't want a Junko. I want a Nana, you know? So that's why I started to question myself. Is this friendship really worth it? Because she clearly don't want me to be part of her life, which was exactly what Junko had. She didn't want Hachi to be part of her life, you know? So because of that, I was like, man, I'm not happy. And I'm from the team that I don't like Junko. I know many people try to explain, no, but she's like that. Hachi's annoying. And no, I understand it all, but I don't think Junko is a good friend because I had a Junko in my life, you know? And even, and I have to say that Junko is still better than my best friend, but she's pretty similar to Junko. She's like, I'll be there for you, but don't annoy me when I don't want it. And then this is not a good friendship, you know? So sometimes it's much more important for you to, and another thing I remember now, um, another thing that I really liked about it is because Nana and Hachi, they got pretty close in such a small amount of time. It doesn't take too long for them to be close, for them to be vulnerable between themselves. And I'll note, they were both open to this friendship. They wanted to make this relationship work. They let themselves get into their lives. There was not like a wall between them because they were open to the friendship, even though they didn't have, at least in the start of it, they didn't know they have anything in common, you know. But eventually they started to notice that they had some things in common and now they're not. But that's okay because of friendship. You will not be exactly like a best friend. You have differences, but you also have things in common, and that's okay. The important is that you respect each other, you like each other, and you want to have this person by your side. You want to have this person make it part of your life, you know? And that's why Nana hurt so much, the end of it, because we see this friendship falling apart eventually. And it hurts because we saw how close they were. We saw how much important they were to themselves. And once it starts to falling apart, you feel this sadness. It's a great sadness. And I'm quite afraid of dealing with that again, but I don't want to talk about it. But Nana was very important to me because, as I said, through Nana, I knew many new things. Like one of my favorite fashion designers, which is Vivienne. The punk culture, that is a culture that I liked so much to know more about it. Not that I'm a big fan of it because they were so problematic. They had some many real issues, but it was good to know more about it. It was good to know how the youngs in the 70s see the world and how pessimistic they were about the world. And though it helped me to learn a lot about history, especially um, England's history, which is a country that I love, you know. It helped me to see a whole new perspective of fashion. It helped me to learn more about fashion, you know. and also how human relationship works. Human relationship works. It's not perfect because humans are imperfect. So we have to deal with that. There's no perfect relationship, and we have to understand it because a friendship will never be 100% perfect. There will always be some issues about it. Dealing with people is not easy, but the important is that you love each other and you do anything to make this friendship work. And that's something that I learned from Nana, you know. Actually, to be honest, the romantic part was the thing I liked the least while I was watching. I don't like any of the couples there, but there's not a problem to me because I know this is part of the story, and of course, it entertained me, but it's not my favorite thing. And another thing that I'm really thankful to Nana is because it helps me to have creativity, and I was passing through such a I don't know how to explain, but I was always a creative person, especially in the fashion field, but I was passing through such a hard time that I couldn't be like that anymore. But Nana kinda make it come back again, and I will always be grateful for that because many of my dreams that I give up on or I thought that it wasn't more for me because of Nana, they eventually come back and made me want to be alive again, you know? So I'm really grateful for this anime because of that. I think I was our is a great storyteller. She created a whole culture through this girl's story, and through that I knew an amazing community, and I didn't make new friends through that, but it was so good to know these new people and talk about this with these people on Reddit. But um, I'm really thankful to Nana, and I wanted to talk about it briefly. And yeah, the songs are amazing. I love Nana songs, especially Kuroi Namida. I love this song so much. I'm obsessed with that. So Nana kinda reunites my love for many things. Fashion, music, cinema, even though it's A&E, but I can explain you later. But because of Nana, many of my passions came back, and I love so much this story. I love these characters, and I just wanted to make a video about it. This video is not, it's completely random between all the videos I've made previously, but it's good to talk about it. So that's the video. See you tomorrow.